Hey guys, it's Charlene. Thanks for joining me on the Picket Studios YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable card using your paper pouncers. We have here the Reindeer Games stencil, and I'm going to start it off by masking every other row of reindeer. So you can see I've got one open row, a row with masking tape, and so on down the front of the stencil. This is going to be an A2 sized card, so it's 4¼ inches by 5½ inches. I love this stencil. It's very vintage, so I went with a vintage vibe all together with this card, colors and everything. Now I'm starting out here with my aqua tone, and this is going to dry back quite a bit, and it's going to be really light blue when it's done, and a nice aqua color. So a couple of tips: when you're using your pouncers, a good way to get into those tiny little nooks and crannies is just to hold the sponge part of the pouncer and kind of squeeze it a little bit, and that's going to help you get into those tiny little crevices. So once I had all of the aqua strips done, I'm going to remove the masking tape here, and I'm going to cover up the ones that I have already inked. Once I get those all covered up, I can do a different color on the lines that are open. I'm going to come in with some mint, so we're going to have a nice vintage aqua and mint color palette going on here. What I love about masking is that it gives you lots of different opportunities with your stencils. You could do stripes or strips here like I've done. You could do these on the diagonal. You could create a frame by using the strips of masking tape and putting them in a square or a rectangle on the front of your stencil. Lots of different options. Once I have all of that mint down, I can go ahead and peel off the masking tape, and you can see that beautiful pattern we've created with the two colors. It looks so pretty. Wait until it dries back. You're going to see here in just a minute how gorgeous it looks. So something I like to do with my pouncers besides stencils is I like to pounce directly onto die cuts. This makes coloring your die cuts so easy. You can see I'm just tapping my pouncer into the ink color, and then I tap it all over on the die cut. It gets down and into all those little spots on the die cut, and you don't have to worry about trying to ink blend a piece of cardstock just right. Instead, you can do it right there on the die cut really easily. I like to do it on my glass mat, but you could do this on any kind of surface. If you're working with really small die cuts, you might want to put those on a sticky mat so they don't move around as much. But the nice thing about using the pouncers as well is because you're not making a circular motion like you would with your standard blending brush, you don't have as much movement, and your pieces tend to at least stay in the general area of where you're trying to ink them up. So you can see I did one of the A2 giant Christmas tree dies in the mint, and then I just did that one in the aqua. For my sentiment, I'm going to be pulling that from the Animal Crackers A Penguin Christmas stamps, and I'll be using the coordinating die. I've stamped it out with the Picket Studios Black Hybrid ink, which is a great ink for sentiments, and then I cut it out with the coordinating die. Now I'm just coming in here with some liquid adhesive. I'm going to layer up my two Christmas trees with a second layer of cardstock just to make them a little bit more sturdy. So you can see I put glue all along the white layer, and then I'm lining up the colored piece. You can see, look how much it's already started to dry back. It looks so pretty. And then once I have it on there, I can just lightly pinch around the edges of the die cut to make sure that everything lines up. And once I get it exactly where I want it, I can commit and really push it down. So I did the light blue aqua one, and now I'm going to come in and do the mint one as well. You can see here where I'm going. These two gorgeous tree die cuts are going to coordinate with that background. This die cut is beautiful for the holidays, for wintertime. It's a really good die for seasonal scene building. You could put multiples of this die across the front of a horizontal landscape card and it would look gorgeous. Or you could do more on the front of a vertical portrait oriented card. That would look really nice as well. I wanted to be able to show off that cute reindeer stencil background, so I stuck with just 2 of them. So once I got my layers all put together and ready to go, I can glue my trees to the front of my little reindeer piece there. I did trim that down by about 1/8 of an inch on each side, so that way I can have a nice white border all the way around my card when I put this whole thing down onto my card base. So for my first tree, I'm going to put it kind of in the center here because I'm going to put my second tree over to the right. So that way I still have a spot over on that left-hand side that I can add my sentiment. Another way that you can use your stencils, which I think particularly with this style of stencil would look really nice, is by doing one of the stripes with ink and doing your pouncers, and then doing the alternating stripe with one of the Picket Studios paper glazes. So you could use some of the Arctic Fox or whatever type of color would coordinate with everything else you have going on your card. And then you'd have the ink on one stripe and that shiny, beautiful glaze on the other alternating strip. So here I'm coming in with my sentiment here. I did layer that up with 1 extra die cut so it would have a little bit of dimension on the front of the card, but I'm keeping this card pretty low profile so it should be easy to mail. I flipped the whole panel upside down so I could trim off the excess portion of the tree, and then I can go ahead and pop up the whole thing on the top of my card with some thin foam tape. So once I have that down on there, I can come in with the absolutely gorgeous Christmas flurries embellishments. You guys, these are perfect for holiday shaker cards or for picking out fun little pieces and using them to put on your card, which is what I did here. I picked out some of the iridescent snowflakes as well as some of the tiny white sequins, and I've just put them all around on the card because I didn't want to detract from the fun vintage vibe we had going on with the aqua and the mint colors on this card. So you guys, that's going to finish off the card. I hope you picked up some tips and tricks today. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Picket Studios YouTube channel. Please be sure to like and subscribe so that way you will get notifications about future videos. I hope you all have a wonderful day.